It's really important to do all that you can to access students' prior knowledge before you teach a lesson. Our students need to have some of the shared vocabulary. They need to know, to remember some of the concepts that they have learned in their native language but may not have the vocabulary for. And so some of these strategies, like doing picture walks, like giving them vocabulary words beforehand, letting them have the cameras to go around and take pictures, helps them get their brains ready for learning and helps them remember the concept knowledge that maybe they have in their native language. There are many different ways that ELL teachers can use to find out how much students know about a topic that you're about to study. When a lot of times when I'm introducing a new topic, I will either have a student draw a picture or write what they know about the topic. If they have native language literacy, at that time I will let them write in their native language, because the words in English aren't as important as knowing the concepts. It's also a time where I'll say, turn and talk to someone who speaks your own language, and let them have a chance to explore the topic in their own language. After that, after they've had a chance to think about it, get their ideas in order, then I'll bring it back to the larger class. Tell me about, for example, weddings. How do weddings happen in your culture? Who prepares the wedding? What do the people wear? What foods do you serve? What kind of party do you have? And from there, the students, because they've had a chance to talk about it, write or draw about it, think about it in different ways, then they're sharing with the class, and I can really gauge, oh, this person has had a lot of experience with this. They know a lot. Oh, this person's never been to a wedding before. Maybe I need to go and give them some more information. And it also is a great way to bring in the cultural piece, because things are different in different cultures, and it's fascinating to me. And if I'm fascinated, the kids get fascinated. Sometimes I'm just shocked by the holes in background knowledge that my students have. As part of my reading curriculum with my newcomers, we talk about the different places in school, and I try to augment that with a little bit more vocabulary building. And so at times we've studied the cafeteria, and I've looked at, oh, great way to throw in some vocabulary about food. And one way, of course, to categorize food is to use the food groups. Well, I thought that my students would know about different kinds of food, and I would just be teaching them how to say the words in English. And so I asked my students, we talked about grains, and I asked them, so what things are grains? They had no idea that bread was made out of flour that was made out of wheat. They didn't know that pasta was made out of flour. They didn't know what kinds of things were grains. So then we went to dairy, and the only thing that they knew came from a cow was milk. And I said, well, what about cheese? They said, well, what about cheese? Well, that comes from a cow too that's made out of milk. And so for me, I had to stop. I had to go back. That lesson that day kind of flopped because I spent more time explaining what all the things are that are made out of milk, or what are all the things that are made out of grains, that I just knew I needed to go way back and build that background knowledge that in my mind I assume they had. And as an ELL teacher, you need to be flexible to recognize that when students don't have that basic knowledge that you thought they had, it's your job to go back and give it to them. They won't get it any other place. Your students will surprise you with what they know and with what they don't know. You need to be able to adjust your lessons and roll with the punches.